Good morning, everyone. We are in the season of light, the Hindu festival of Diwali. It is celebrated over 5 days function, 5 days proceedings. Identifying with the mind is misery. Identifying with the mind is misery. How do we identify with the mind? Unless we know how do we identify with the mind, it is difficult to come out of that identification. In one of the compositions, Adi Shankar, in 3rd century, he composed Nirvan Shatkam or Atma Shatkam, means something of 6 stanzas. There is nothing that identifies, that explains the mind better than that. The story is very beautiful. Adi Shankar lived in the extreme southern tip of India, the state called Kerala. And it is said that he was 6 years or 8 years of age. He was found wandering on a cold winter night in Himalayan mountains. How he reached there, what was the means of transport, remains a mystery. And the first line, there he went in search of his master, and he met a person named Govind Pad Acharya, who asked him, "Who are you?" And Shankar composed a composition called Nirvan Shatkam. Nirvan means freedom from bondage. A composition of 6 stanzas for freedom. Also it is known as Atma Shatkam. When there is freedom, you are in the realm of being, soul. He says, Mano Buddha Ahankar Chittani Naham. 4 aspects of the mind. Mind is the storehouse or the outer socket or the outer jacket where everything of the computer are kept. Buddhi, intellect. We give so much importance to intellect. Intellect means accumulated knowledge. And intelligence means the capacity to know. There is a vast difference between intellect and intelligence. The focus should be on intelligence. A child is intelligent. He has not accumulated any knowledge. Compared to that, an elderly person has intellect. But his capacity to know, capacity to learn is finished. Buddhi, intellect. Ahankar, ego sense. This ego divides. Ego creates division. This is me, that is you. This is my religion, that is your religion. My religion is greater than your religion. Chit, memory, the storehouse of the memory. First, mind, intellect, ego sense, and memory. Now you look at yourself when you are interacting into the world of objects and beings, or any circumstance and situation comes, how do you operate? You operate either out of memory or out of intellect or out of ego sense, and all these are processed in the mind. This identification creates misery. Memory means known, ego means that which is divided, that divides, intellect, the accumulated knowledge, dogmas, theories, philosophies, your way of life, all this comes within the periphery of intellect. So we operate either through intellect or ego sense or memory. This is the identification of the mind. A particular circumstance and situation comes. If we consider it as a new situation, something that you have never encountered, you need not go into the memory. You need not go into intellect. Then you are using your intelligence to solve the problems. You recall the story, the king wanted to have the most learned and wise man as his chief minister. So he invited 3 people, put them into a room, and he said the room is locked from outside. And one who can come out of this room first will be the chief minister of this place. One of them started his mathematical calculations. The other went into theoretical ways in a situation like this, when a door is locked from outside, how to unlock it. And the third one simply remained sitting on the chair. He went over to the door, turned the knob, and came out. As he turned the knob, the door opened and he came out. This is the intelligence. When I was growing, during the winter time or during the spring or beginning of the winter, autumn, at my uncle's place, the Sufi master, there was a veranda that was open in front. So the breeze used to blow, so sometimes we used to have blinds, curtains. So we were young, we were sleeping. All of a sudden there was somewhere, some quarter, the noise came in saying that there was a thief. So some of us ran in different direction to see that if we can catch hold of the thief. This is what we can do out of intelligence. And one of the person, he sat down, he was lying down, he sat down, covered himself from head to toe with a blanket and remained sitting there. So when everything was pacified and we recognized either the person has escaped or there was simply an illusion, and we came back, we asked this person, it was a situation to act, and why you were covered yourself. You know what did he say? He said, I was planning how to catch the thief. He's covering up himself. I was planning with the blanket covered. So why did you cover yourself with the blanket? It's like an ostrich. When ostrich sees the fear, it hides its face into the sand. So he hid himself and out of fear. So either he is operating out of memory, fear is a part of the memory. Something has happened in the past and it begins to act in a particular situation. You act out of that. This is part of the memory. Whenever you identify with memory is in the form of fear, in the form of your past experience with this person, circumstances would have changed. The person who was in a financial misery may have come out of it, but no. We continue to live in the known world. Continue to live. You go to the banks. Banks go with the financial history. They do not look at the present. They look at the past, wherever you have faltered. And they protect themselves by saying that you have to give 100% security or whatsoever it is, the criteria the bank chooses. So this is identifying with memory out of fear, out of the past experiences, but fear remains the basic background, at the background. Or you can operate through your dogmas, your rituals. Something is said. You are a meat eater. It is said during the fasting time, we do not eat meat. And we consider ourselves to be very religious that we do not eat meat during fasting time. But what about the meat that you had eaten before that has become the blood and part of your anatomy and physiology? What happened to that? No, that is not important. We do not eat meat during those few days, but afterwards we do eat. Fasting does not mean that. Fasting means, English word fasting is an erroneous word. The Hindi word is upvas. Vas means to dwell, up means to sit and dwell together in the company of the divine, constant remembrance. That is what fasting is. So mind is never silent. It either goes to the memory or to the belief systems or to the ego sense. It is constantly clattering and running in these three directions. It is constantly crowded with many thoughts and desires that are never fulfilled, and no thought is yours. And you consider that the thought is yours, that I get a very good thought. It goes on dreaming ceaselessly. It is never still even for a single moment. And you have become identified with the mind. You are identified with the memory. You are identified with the intellect. You are identified with the ego sense. and you think that we are the mind. It is said, as is the mind, so is the man. And that is creating the whole misery. Get out of the mind. How can you get out of the mind? Understand, at a particular situation, your father asks you to do something, and for some reason you fail to do it correctly. He says, I knew it. Someone had told me not to rely on this person. He is not reliable. And see what I have found myself into it. You have given him an opportunity. Let that circumstance, that situation be new, totally new, not mixed with the past experiences. Only then he can come out of the mind. Train him. Give him the guidance. And each person is capable of learning, capable of performing, once he or she is given an opportunity. Get out of the mind and you will come back to your senses. Get out of the mind, because mind is a kind of madness. But one can get out of the mind in two ways. Either you can fall below the mind, and then you have to be, that is madness, and you will be put into mental asylum. The another is to go beyond the mind and you become a Buddha, a Jesus, a Raman. The choice is yours to choose one. The second is the obvious choice, to come out of the mind, to go beyond the mind. I am not operating out of the mind. I have given the opportunity to this person to do everything. I will continue to guide him whenever he needs the guidance, not that I am interfering in his ways and means every moment. I am analyzing the situation and from time to time reviewing, asking the person if everything is okay. Do you need anything? I am there. I am sitting outside. If you need the support, call me. I am there. Only then you will be able to come out of the mind. There is a fear of going out of the mind. The fear is because mad people are also out of the mind, but they have fallen below. And one has to rise above the mind, above the memory, above the ego sense, above intellect. When you rise above the mind, great silence descends. You can see the mind deep down in the valley. Clattering is still, but the distance between you and the mind is getting wider and wider with every moment. And after some time, you will stop hearing the clattering, the whispers at all. You will not hear them. And that day you become enlightened, when you are not hearing clatters of the mind, noise of the mind. That ego sense comes and says, this person says that I had told you not to rely on this person. Shut it up. I take my decisions myself. I am like a river that is flowing. Any obstacle or stone comes in, it soaks its way, but it moves around the stone and comes back. See the rhythm of this sound. If you fight with it, it will continue and continue to disturb. If you enjoy the sound, few minutes you pause, nothing happened, nothing changed. So river is going this direction, a stone comes in, it soaks a little bit, takes her around the corner, around the stone and comes back and finds its own way. It's a flow. So in the same way, when you have given an opportunity, this is how you should train your young ones. Give them an opportunity. From the earlier stages, I learned the art of training the younger ones, giving them the opportunity, giving them a certain amount of freedom. Just like a man who has a cow or a goat and he wants it to graze, it gives a certain amount of freedom by increasing the length of its rope so that that rope becomes the radius and it can graze into a certain circle. When that area is covered, then you extend the rope a little more. So you have given a certain amount of freedom. Up to here it is okay. When you excel in that, when you have excelled in that, then your rope will be released a little more freedom will be given. Until you reach to the point that total freedom is given to you, you are the master of your own destiny. You are rising above the mind. When you rise above the mind, great silence descends. You can see the mind deep in the valley, clattering still, but the distance between you and the mind is getting wider and wider. And a time will come that you will not be able to hear any clatter at all. And that day you attained, you have become awakened. Mind lives either in the past or in the future. If you are young, then the mind lives in the past. Because the old man has no future. He knows that there is death knocking at the doorstep. So he is afraid to look into the future. He goes on reminiscing about the past, all that has been and is no more, and he calls it golden past. He enjoys those golden days. Much of it is just imagination now. In the first place, he has never been there. Much of it is just projected invention to remain occupied. And when it was available, it was there, he was not available to those moments. The moment a person starts living in the past is the moment when he starts becoming old. Continue to live in the moment. You will remain new. You will remain young. Psychologically, that is the point from where one becomes old. Psychologically, it may not coincide. However, physiologically, it may not coincide, but psychologically, old age begins when you start thinking about the past. Old age begins when you begin to think about the past. The beauties of the past, the golden experiences, the nice days, and how everything was great, and future is so dark that you are afraid to look at it. And you want to remain occupied with the past. You have started growing old. But that is not so with the young person. The young person looks at the future. Death is far, far away. In reality, the young person never thinks of death. It is so far away. and it is beyond the scope of his thoughts. He does not have that much insight into. So he lives in the future, making castles in the air. He goes on imagining, I will do this and I will get that and I will be this and that tomorrow. It is going to happen. And it is, if it is not tomorrow, then certainly the day after tomorrow it is going to happen. Old man wastes his present living in the past, and young man wastes his present imagining about the future. Both exercises are absolutely futile and useless. Absolutely futile and useless and very harmful, because the present which is being wasted for either the past which is no more or the future which is not yet born. Live in the moment. Live in now. Now is the time. I have heard that time the Indian wandering mystic Narad used to travel frequently between the godly land to this mortal land, the earth. He came and he saw a man meditating. He went and asked him, I am a frequent traveler. If you have any question, ask. I can ask on your behalf from the God and come back and give you the answer. He said, find out from him how long will it take to get enlightened. How long will it take? Then he went. There was another young person. He was dancing under a tree. So he paid no attention to Narad. Whereas the elderly person, although he was meditating, but he became aware of somebody's presence, he opened his eyes and he saw the sage, the wandering mystic Narad there. So he asked him the question. This young person did not pay any attention. Then somehow the wandering mystic, drew his attention towards him and asked him if he had any question to ask. He said, no, there is no question in my mind. And I do not need to know anything. I am simply enjoying my dance of celebration. He said, if you want, just find out how long will it take for me to become enlightened. So the sage, with these two questions, went to God and asked him what will happen. The first man, who was a mystic meditating, doing his rituals and whatsoever it was, God said it will take him 7 more lives to attain to enlightenment. And what about the person who is dancing under the tree? It will take as many lives as there are trees, as there are leaves in the tree. So he comes back on the earth. He goes to the first man who was busy doing his rituals and things. As soon as he saw Narad, he stopped all that and he inquired, what did God say? He said, God said it will take 7 more lives for you to become enlightened. The man got angry. He said, I had been doing this for so long and still it will take 7 more lives. And he stopped doing everything. And he just got into tantrums. So Narad escaped from there, thinking that this man is got into rage, he may do anything. So he was now afraid to go to the next person to tell him what did God say. When he went there, as usual, the young man was dancing under the tree, excited, ecstatic, without paying attention to anyone. As usual, he paid no attention to the wandering sage. So he drew his attention towards him and he said, would you not want to know what did God say? He said, no, that's not necessary. I am enjoying the moment. He said, if you want, you can still say. He said that God said that it will take as much time as there are leaves in the tree. The young boy got so ecstatic. He said, "Oh, so as many days as there are leaves in the tree," and he started dancing at a faster speed. He said, "Oh, thank you very much. It will take as many days, as much time as there are leaves in the tree." And he continued, and he became awake in the very moment, because it was the intensity that was important. It was the totality that he went into it that was important. And the more totally you are into a particular act, that becomes the passage, that becomes the door. Live in the present moment. That is my message to you. That is the message of all the masters. Now, Guru Nanak called his temple Guru Dwara, Gurudwara, Gurudwara. It comes from the two words Guru and Dwara. Dwara has a double meaning. Dwara means door as well as through. And Guru is not a person. Like a parrot we go and saying, "Why Guru, why Guru, why Guru, why Guru." No, it's not like that. It's a Wah, a Guru. Wah means an exclamation, wonder, a continuation of that explanation, that wonder. Guru, it comes from the two words Guru. Gu means light, Ru from darkness to light. The passage is from darkness to light. The master has attained to light. There is no more darkness there. So you can come, the passage is from light, from darkness to light. Master takes you from darkness to light. It is through darkness to light alone that you can transcend. You can come out. So whenever you are hearing somebody saying, "Why Guru, why Guru, why Guru, why Guru, why Guru," consider to be a mantra. No. Wah, Wah, exclamation. Wah, a Guru. Wah, a Guru. And the whole gestalt changes with that. Little paraphrasing. Wah, a Guru. Wah, a Guru. But it becomes Vaheguru. Wah, a Guru. And you take the pause. Wah, a Guru. Changes everything. Live in the present moment. This is my message to you. Be in the present moment, and if you can be in the present moment, you escape from all kind of stupidities that the old people have. The past, the future. You can be in the present moment. And the moment you are in the present moment, you transcend time. That's why when you are enjoying something, you do not feel time. Time flies. Time consists of past and future, and eternity consists of only this moment. Eternity is now. Always now and never then. Always here, never there. It is now and here. And to enter into now and here, to enter into now and here is to enter into eternity, to enter into God, the eternal, beyond time and space. This has to become your meditation, to come more and more close to the present moment. I am not saying not to prepare for the journey. If you are going somewhere, you have to purchase the ticket ahead of time. You have to plan it. I am not saying not to do that. that has nothing to do with future. What I mean is psychological hope, a desire, because the present seems to be unfulfilling. Therefore, you escape into the future with the hope of fulfillment. Stop going into the psychological future. The factual future is okay, but not the psychological future. I am talking about the psychological future. This is not disturbance at all. The factual past is okay. The factual past is okay, the factual future is okay. It is not going to disturb you at all. You have to remember your name, you have to remember your address, and when you meet your father, you have to recognize him. You cannot say otherwise to him. These are the factual things. They are perfectly okay. But deep inside, the past should not possess you, nor the future should be your occupation. Relax into this moment. Be aware of the psychological past and the future. Then all kind of miracles is possible. All kinds of miracles are possible. Only this much for this morning. Be a lamp unto yourself. What shall you gain by lighting 1,000 lamps and say proudly that I did 1,000 lamps or 101 diyas for Diwali occasion? If you can get this Diwali, your own inner lamp lit, that is more than enough. That will guide you and others along the path. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day.